Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Mouthful Roundtable. This is a new segment that we've added to our show. It's a new segment discussing the work and careers of emerging creatives, entrepreneurs, everyone within various industries from all around the world. This is our very first episode of this segment, and we're going to call this Music Producers. So, this is part one. We also have a part two coming next as well. So, stay tuned for that. Right now, we have Star, my co host here.
Hello, glad to be
Hey,
back.
Star. Yes, she is from the original Mouthful, of course. And we also have our music producer here, RayVaughn.
Hey, what's going on, everyone?
RayVaughn, yes, yes. So we'll just get straight into it. RayVaughn, tell us who RayVaughn Cabey is.
All right, so RayVaughn Cabey is a music producer, public speaker, DJ, and youth mentor. RayVaughn is actually my full name. My artist name is Vaughn Levi, and I have been in the music industry since 2008. I have worked with major artists like Lil Uzi Vert, Dave East, the New York Knicks, Funk Flex, and a plethora of independent artists all over the world. I also am a workshop leader for the nonprofit organization Building Beats, which we felicitate workshops in music production, DJing, podcasting, music entrepreneurship to youth all over New York City. And we're also branching out to LA and the DMV area, which I am in right now.
Nice. That's a hell of a resume right there.
Yes.
Well, I want to know, so like everybody or most people love music, right? But how did you know this was a passion that you wanted to follow?
I've always been interested in music from a young age. I come from a music family. My father is a MC and a DJ. But what really inspired me to get into to music is when I got introduced to 50 Cent. 50 Cent is one of the richest rappers from Queens. And when he got on the scene in 2003, his music was everywhere. And one of his MTV2 interviews that I watched as a kid, he explained his music process of how he came up with songs. And he's like, oh, I come up with the hook first. It's like a melody in my head. And then he'll chisel out the words. And then the verse comes later. So I'm like, I think I could do that. So I would just pen out different melodies like in my subject book. And it just became like a hobby in junior high school. And then in high school, I got with some friends that were doing it for real, and we formed our own rap group. And then from there, I started to take it serious. And after high school, I joined I enrolled into a music school, which is no longer in New York anymore and closed down. It's the Institute of Audio Research. And there I learned how to record music, mix and master, make beats, and then I like started getting my feet wet in the music industry from those experiences. So yeah, so 50 Cent took me on like this whole journey that like brought me to doing all the things that I'm doing right now.
Awesome. Shout out to 50. Yeah, he is
Shout
doing big
out.
things from music to television shows now, just
Right.
everything.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite producers right now. He's coming hard with it. He's coming
Hmm.
hard with it. So I love 50. Yes. And what take us through the process of what your job entails. Take us through what is a producer. What all do you guys do? Because it's so many definitions and so many things
Right.
people think that you guys do, but we kind of want to know from you, what is it? What is it that you do?
All right. So producer is the person who creates the experience for the artist. It's not just the beat. Sometimes the producer will come up with the instrumental body and then they'll have an idea for an artist where like they want an artist to talk about their struggles or they want them to talk about something that makes them happy in their lives, and the producer will coach them through creating the lyrics for it. So if you ever seen the movie NWA, when Dr. Dre is coaching Eazy-E how to quote every lyric in that song, that's usually what a professional producer does.
Gotcha. So
Mhm.
you definitely have to have patience because Dre had
Yeah.
patience.
Yeah, you
Definitely
gotta have
have to have
patience.
patience.
Mhm.
Well, I guess that kind of goes into what you do because you're an instructor for your nonprofit. And I kind of want to backdoor or segue back into what you were saying. The school that you went to is no longer. Do you think that those interested in wanting to go into music producing should go to a school for that, or should they go to, a college, a four-year university, or which way would they go?
Um, I think the first thing someone that's interested in doing this should uh go into YouTube University first, because you can find anything on YouTube. So if this is something that you're really interested in, from YouTube, you'll get a base of how to get started. Then if you want to take it serious, I always suggest going to a trade school or a college, not because of the education, it's because of the people that you actually meet in school. So like a lot of the people that you meet in school, they have ambitions in other things. So like you may meet people that want to rap and make beats in the beginning, and then they become um interns at a label, and then now they are the president of the label. So like that's my story too. Like I had a few friends that were producers in 2008, and now one of my friends is the president of Sony A&M. So it's really about going to school, learning the things that you want to learn, but making those connections. So I always say start with YouTube first to get your feet wet, and then go into school to get that education and get those connections as well.
Great advice.
Yes, that's awesome. And going back to your nonprofit building
Yeah.
beats,
Mhm.
what is that about? How did it get started, and how did you get involved?
All right, so Building B started out in 2013 by the CEO FeeFam. Shout out to FeeFam, and he actually worked at a tech company. And during that time, he was thinking about how he could create a nonprofit organization that would inspire kids to express themselves in different ways outside of science. So he wanted to bridge music and tech together. So what he did was he created Building Beats, and he started out with DJ workshops. And then from those DJ workshops, he branched off into music production workshops, and then later on into podcasting and music entrepreneurship. I got onto Building Beats in 2016, and I was always looking to get into mentoring uh, young people that were interested in music, because when I was in high school, they had a hip hop program that was only on Saturdays. So like if you really wanted to be involved in the program, you have to wake up early in the morning, get on the bus, and actually go to the high school. So when I found out that Building Beats was after school and during school time, I jumped right on it. And I have taught over 300 kids. I've worked in over 35 schools in New York City. And now I live in Maryland, and I taught my first DJ workshop over the summer here in Maryland as well.
Nice.
Wow.
So I'm a high school teacher, and whenever my students can, they're like, "Hold on, Miss Ford," and they're on YouTube finding a beat. And they like, "I'm gonna do something to this beat, or I could do this beat."
Yep.
And
Mhm.
this generation is like born into technology, right? With the cell phone out the womb. So has technology changed in the way you could build a beat? Because there's an instrument that I see, or I think I see, a lot of producers have that make a beat, and then before you know it, it's like gold.
Yeah, I got you
Has
right now.
technology changed?
Yeah, like one of these.
Yes.
Yes, that's it. That's it. That's
I'm
it.
so
I see it all the
excited. I'm
time.
like, yes.
I think people always carry it with them now. I see so many carrying it with them everywhere they go. It's so
Yep.
cool.
Yeah.
It really
So
is.
yeah, so a lot of my students have one of these. This is
Okay.
like it's a portable keyboard where you can make beats on. And I started in 2008, and music production was not portable at all. You had to invest a little bit of money to have a setup, at least $1,000. But now with technology, all you need is an internet connection, and you can create beats right off your laptop.
Wow.
So I think technology has made it a lot more accessible for those who are interested in music to create without a big investment up front, and which is great because like there's a bunch of high school kids, like especially me, like when I was in high school, I was scared to ask my mom for $300 to go get a program because we just didn't have it. But like now in situations like this, in 2021, if you want to make beats, you could just log onto a website and make beats right away, which is really dope.
It really is.
So I kind of want to dig into your lesson plan. Like, how does your lesson plan look when you're teaching these students? Teaching them in your class. Like, how does it go? What's the lesson like? And just in case someone wants to say, hey, I'm going to email him today because I want to join your class.
They will.
Well, it changes all the time because the first thing I like to do is to get to know my students. So like a lot of the programs that I'm in, some of the kids aren't really into music right away, but they like video games or they like sports. So what I like to do is show them how music bridges within all of those categories. So like if someone's into Call of Duty, I'll show them a video on how producers make music for Call of Duty. Or if you like NBA, I'll show them a highlight reel of hip hop music behind it. So I try to always find out what's their corkscrew, turn it a little bit, and then teach them the mechanics of how to make a beat from there.
I like that. What's their corkscrew? Turn it a
Yeah, yeah, I like that. So
go ahead, Mary.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Star. Go ahead, Star.
I was gonna say, no, I was just gonna agree that music definitely is the gateway to inspiration, to happiness. But besides 50 Cent, is there anybody that's really like either up and coming or just in the industry that you really go, wow, I'd love to work with them with?
Master P. I'm really into Master P because I follow Master P on social media, and he does a lot of motivational speaking when it comes to Black communities, working with each other. He's always about empowering youth. He's always empowering youth to be more financially stable and financially savvy. So even like not even on a music tip, like really more on a mentor tip, I would love to work with Master P. Music wise, I would love to work with Lucky Day. That's one of my favorite R&B singers, and he's really dope. Also Ari Lennox too, I love her.
Yeah, whew, I do too. She's awesome.
When you said Master P, I was like, see, I like you because you Master P is good. Usually everybody's on a new artist, and I don't know any of the new artists like that coming up. I know a couple of them, but Master P, that would have been definitely top list.
Yeah,
and I know a lot of young people, they just don't know anything about Master P. So when you said that, I was like, yeah, I like him.
And really, just the way that you broke it down, not only are you talking about somebody that just has done so much, like you said, for the community and the music industry, but to teach these young ones that it's much more than just your passion. Like, go further, go deeper in it. It's not just to get the accolades of, oh, I produced this hot beat type of deal. Like, but what else can you do with your platform?
Right.
And you are really like living proof of what that looks like. This is so dope.
Right. Because there's so much more than that. Because like, especially like in my early 20s, my whole deal was to get those accolades. But once I achieved them, I realized, oh, what's next? Like it's cool to have a plaque and work with your favorite artists, but if there's no connection to like putting the younger crowd on or educating someone after that, you're just doing it for a check. And I've always wanted to give back to my community and just people that were interested in music, period. Because like when I grew up, I was a really awkward kid and I didn't really know where I fit in. And I found my way through music. So I know there's a lot of other kids out there just like that. So I want to be a catalyst to bridge the gap between those people.
Definitely.
Yeah. And how many students come to your class, or just how many students are involved in the organization together? Do you feel like it's a lot of kids wanting to become something in this industry, or
Yeah.
do you think they're kind of like iffy about, oh, I don't know, it's too hard? Because I know it's hard to get your big break in the music industry.
Everyone wants to be a rapper nowadays. Everybody. most of the students that I have worked with, especially in Brooklyn, they all want to be rappers. With the surge of Pop Smoke and drill music, there is a huge inspiration for young kids to be rappers. But what I like to do is show them that there's other avenues in the music industry besides being behind the microphone, because a lot of these young kids get into bad situations and they go to jail or they die. So like, I want them to understand that, hey, like, if you want to be in the music industry, there's other ways of getting in. You don't have to just be a rapper, but everyone wants to be a rapper nowadays.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree. A lot of young people, that's all they want to be, NBA young boy, and they want to
Yeah,
be like
yep,
them. And
yeah. They want to be.
I rarely hear I want to be a music producer or I want to be an executive. I used to want to be in the music industry, but I guess my confidence level wasn't up there.
Mhm.
But I love music, period. Like I like writing. I've written a couple of songs before, but
Right.
I'm not really into it like that. So I know it can be scary, you know, it can be discouraging. So I get it. Yeah. And how do you get discovered as a music producer? Like how were you discovered when you work with your first big artist? Like how does that process go?
Um, Everything is on the internet now, so you have to be real internet savvy. Making sure that you're visible on Twitter, you're visible on YouTube, because everyone is looking for beats on YouTube. So if you have make sure you have a YouTube channel and you are consistently putting out new music on a basis where people see you all the time. So if you have a YouTube channel, I would suggest to put out music at least 2 to 3 times a month. This way, when people that are looking for your style of beats on YouTube are looking, it'll pop up on their suggestions. Um, Definitely make content on TikTok because TikTok is huge. And just be yourself. Like the easiest way to get noticed is being yourself on social media, honestly.
So I was gonna ask you because you're from the mecca of where hip hop was born, New York. And then
Mhm.
for me, I'm an 80s baby, grew up in the 90s. And it's like when hip hop started taking over in the coasts, everybody had their sound. But now I feel like in the 2000s, like, do you think there's still a certain sound for like the West Coast or East Coast or South Side, Or do you think everybody's just what they like is what they like? It's no real genre anymore.
It's both. So people like what they like. However, there are still regions like LA, Atlanta that have their own sound. New York right now, the sound is drill. A couple years ago, it was more bouncy and it sounded like Atlanta music. But the sound of New York is drill music. The sound of
Wait, what's
Atlanta.
drill? You got to put me on. What's drill music?
So
Yeah, I
drill
was just
music.
gonna say.
So so drill music is the music that Pop Smoke made. So if you know any Pop Smoke song,
Okay. Yeah.
that's drill music. It's like
Okay.
heavy bass.
That hot. Okay.
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
it. Okay.
That's the sound of New York.
I
Okay.
didn't even know that.
Yeah, I didn't
That's
know.
good to you just told me something because I didn't know that. And I listened to Pop Smoke a little bit, so I know
hmm
what you're saying. But yeah, I
Yeah.
Yeah.
didn't know that was what it was called, drill.
Yeah.
That
Drill. Yeah.
sound. Yeah,
hmm
that sound it is. And I hate to admit it, but I didn't get put on to Pop Smoke until unfortunately after his,
After his passing, yeah.
Same,
untimely passing. Yeah.
same.
So do
But
you
yeah,
have a favorite? I mean, I know you're from New York, but do you have a favorite type of sound right now, no matter what coast it's from?
I'm really
Like,
getting into like LA music. So like,
hey.
yeah. So like, I just got put on to this artist named Larry June, and it's really cool. Like he has like this low rider, real smooth, like party music. Like it's not promoting violence or anything. It's just I'm here to party. I love everybody. It's really dope. I like it.
It's a
Yeah,
good time.
it's a good
Somebody
time.
else just told me to listen to him.
Yeah,
Okay,
listen
shout
to
out
Larry
to
June.
Larry June.
Larry June
Larry June.
and
Okay.
Kate Renata is also great too.
Okay.
Okay, put us on then. Put
Right.
Yeah,
us
yeah.
on.
Yeah, so like Kate Renata, he's a house DJ, but he bridges the gap between house and R&B, and he makes songs with Estelle, Suego, Sir. really dope. He just won a Grammy for his album, Boomba. So it's dope.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And out of all the beats that you have created and all the
Mm-hmm.
artists that you have worked with, what's your favorite beat and has your favorite artist been that you've worked with?
All right. So my favorite beat that I created was this song called Count Them Rows for Lil Uzi Vert. This was like in 2015. I didn't even know he even used the beat. Like one of my students told me, oh, this is a new Lil Uzi Vert song. And come to find out that it was my beat. So I had to like go do my Googles, figure out who to contact. But that was like my famous record. So yeah, so that one right there. So if you go on YouTube, it's called Count Them Rows. So it's Count DEM Rows.
So you said that you didn't know that he
Right,
used your
that's what
beat
I was gonna
beforehand.
ask.
Like, don't they supposed to ask you beforehand? Like, how does
Yeah.
that work?
So here's the thing about the internet. So like once you put your music on the internet, it's public domain. So anyone can get access to your music. And a lot of rappers, especially like in any coast, like they will record a song and they'll put it out without going through the proper channels to really reach out to the people who make the beat. So that was just one of those cases where he found a beat that he liked and he just used it. And I found out about it later.
But everything was kosher
Yeah,
once you reached out.
Everything was
That's
kosher.
nice. That's nice.
Everything was kosher.
Okay. Cool. So all these great experiences, but what are one of the things that just really get you like, oh, sometimes you want to scream?
All right. So funny story. So I was on a Midwest tour going from Michigan to Ohio with another producer and an artist. And this is like not a music experience, but it's part of the whole musical journey. So we were in the car. We were about 30 miles out from Ohio, and the power steering goes out on the car. So we're unable to make left turns. And the person in the driver's seat was saying, "Hey, the power steering is going out. I'm gonna just try to drive until we get to Ohio." And I'm like, "No, pull over and let's call let's call the rental, because if anything happens, the person that's going to die is me, because I'm in the driver's seat." So I get this person to pull over, and when we finally pull over, I find out that the car isn't insured. So we have to get a completely new rental. So we wait for almost an hour in the middle of like some rest stop in Michigan. And it was a mess. We get to the rental, and when we get there, instead of getting an SUV because we're on tour and we have a bunch of equipment and bags, the person that's with me wants to get a brand new Mustang, 2-door Mustang. I'm like, yo, dog, why would you get something like this when we're on tour? It's gonna make us look bigger than when we are, number one, and there's not gonna be enough room for our equipment. So that experience taught me that you have to have a road manager with you, because when you put business into producers' hands, they act like kids. They do not act like business people.
Gotcha. Road manager. That's good advice. So y'all did make it, right?
We did make it. We did make it. Yeah, Lord willing, we made it. Thank God. But it was a rough ride. It was a rough ride.
I'm glad y'all made it. That's scary. Oh, that's scary. And I have a question. What is one thing you would change about the music industry?
I wish it was more transparent. I think that people who are fans of the music industry have this idea that anyone that you see on the television is extremely successful, when it's really not the case. Those who you see on the TV, they're entertainers. They're entertainers, and they are under contract to make money later on. So like when someone signs $1 million deal, they're not really getting $1 million up front. It's a loan for a promise that they'll make that money back. So like if you get $1 million, you're supposed to double it. And a lot of artists don't get the chance to double that money. So there are a lot of situations where you see artists be upset with their record label because they're not getting paid because they didn't recoup on their album. So I just wish more people knew that the music industry is more of a bank than a meal ticket.
So with that starting out, and I ask this because I have this conversation with my students a lot about, maintaining passive income or having that hustle or that grind, whatever it is. Would you say somebody starting out should have a 9 to 5 and then follow their music passion, or should they just completely be about their music?
Absolutely. Never dive fully into the music industry without some type of benefactor. If you have a 9 to 5, keep it. It's going to make sure that you eat, number one, and you can invest into other passive income. You know what I mean? So like if you want to start a t-shirt business with your music business, when you put out a song, you can pay for t-shirts and you can sell those at your shows, opposed to just pulling up to a show with no merch. So definitely have a job for sure.
Man, that is such good advice.
Agree.
Yes.
I agree. There's a lot of people are going back and forth about that, especially nowadays, because it seems like everybody's either doing their own thing, their business has blown up from COVID, so that's just some great advice for some people to have, because I know a lot of people go back and forth about it. I wanted to ask, what is the most memorable reaction you have received from an artist that you work with, or even one of the students? Like, what is something that made you feel good about what you're doing within building the beats and kind of your own type of music production outside of that?
One time I was doing a virtual Q&A for a youth group, and when I was doing my PowerPoint and I was showing them everyone that I worked with, somebody had Googled me, and they were like, "Oh my God, you're real?" I didn't like. I thought this was fake. I'm like, nah, like that's really me.
I'm
so
here.
Like, yeah, so that was like a really cool reaction, like to see like I'm Googleable now. You know what I mean? And another great moment is when I went to Detroit and I was working with the artist, and I had made a beat, wrote a song, and then recorded the chorus for the song. And the artist is like, "Dude, like you're like Pharrell." And I'm like, that's a great comparison. I like that. So like I've never had anyone compare me to Pharrell before. So like he's a legend. So I thought that was really cool.
Definitely. And you have just this genuine vibe that you really care about, like the teaching, not just the passion for music, but like teaching it to others to let them progress and prevail. So that's really good. That organic feel that you give off is good.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because a lot of people didn't have that. Didn't have that. So I want to make sure people understand that there are genuine people in the music industry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And so many people have it to where they have to hit it big and, find the top of the top of the top. They got to run into a Diddy or, a 50 Cent or somebody in order to make it. And it's like you said, start off with YouTube, learn the craft, start off with people like you that are giving their time and, opportunity to other people. So that's great.
Yeah. And what advice would you give promising music producers, young music producers, or producers that are even discouraged? They're thinking about giving up. What advice would you give to them in order for them to keep going, or just not get discouraged and even just try to progress as a music producer?
Consistency and education is key. You'll never get discouraged if you're educated, and if you continue to put your best foot forward and let people know that you're serious, you'll never fail. Because those who give up, sometimes if you're if you're grinding for 12 months, you only need that 13th month to where someone can be like, "Oh, we've been looking for you this whole time." So stay consistent and stay educated, because a lot of people just want to jump into the music industry and then when they go viral, they have to learn everything else later. So definitely stay educated for sure.
Absolutely. I think that's with anything, staying educated. That is such a huge aspect to have.
Do you have a tag, like a line for your music when one of your productions is on or somebody uses it?
Yeah. So my tag is from the Rush Hour movie, Rush Hour 2, when Chris Tucker is singing the Michael Jackson song in the bar, and he was like, "Hey Lee, come out here. These people love me." So that's my tag.
Oh, that's okay.
Mhm.
That's cool.
Mhm.
That's really cool.
See, that creativity, that's what's going to stand out and make people remember.
Mhm.
Definitely.
And
So,
I guess
oh,
go ahead.
I'm
Go ahead.
sorry. I wanted to jump. You said that you had worked with, was it the leagues or sports professional?
Yeah, and it's the New York Knicks.
Okay, New York Knicks. So what was that like working with the sports team? I mean, you have music and sports. I mean, come on, that's like hand in
How
hand.
does that go hand in hand? Yeah.
Yeah, so the general manager of the Knicks, this was in 2012 when Carmelo Anthony had just got drafted. Well, we got traded to the Knicks. When he got traded to the Knicks, we were going to the playoffs. So what he wanted like a theme song for Madison Square Garden. So a friend of mine who made the beat asked me to write a song for the Knicks. So I created like a fan playoff song for the Knicks, and that was like the official song for the playoffs. So they played it in the Garden, and it was like a whole big thing. It was cool.
Golly, like your song was played at the Garden.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay.
I don't know what I would have did because I'm a basketball fan. So for me to just sit in the Knicks Stadium and hear my song come on, like that's dope. Like,
yeah, it was dope. It was super cool. I was in the box and I was bugging out. It was cool. It was a great.
Right. I was gonna ask, were you like trying to play it cool, or were you like, that's me?
I was just playing it cool. I was just like,
okay.
yeah, we here.
But on the inside, she was probably like,
yeah, I was bugging out. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. Yeah.
Right.
And I guess just to wrap it up, like, what are your goals in 2022?
My goals in 2022. So right now, I'm actually in school finishing up my communications degree, and I want to get into journalism, like music journalism. So my goals in 2022 is to finish my degree, land a journalism job, and start my own blog, as well as create my own radio show. So those are my main goals for 2022.
Man, listen, positive affirmations, we are speaking that into existence because you have it. You have such a dope aura about you.
Yes,
thank you so much.
I was just gonna say that you're gonna make it because I can just see it all over. And what you do, period, is inspiring. It inspired me, and that's what made me reach out to you because I'm like, I've never seen nonprofit organizations reach out to music production and helping kids grow in that aspect, because it's like usually, like you said, they just want to be rappers, or singers. And, people have programs for that, but I've never heard of a nonprofit for the music production. And that's dope. And shout out to the owner and shout out to you for making it happen, because now I can go and if someone says, oh, I want to be a music producer, well, I'm just going to shoot them. I know somebody named RayVaughn.
Yeah. Send them through. I'll put them on the right path. That's my goal, to make sure everyone that gets in front of me will learn something new and get inspired.
Yeah. And that's what it's all about. And that's what this is all about. We just want to network and just have more content for people that need this kind of help or just want to know more about this industry or music production. This is what this is all about. So
absolutely,
we go hand in hand, and I'm glad that I reached out, and I'm glad that you came with us.
Yeah, thank you so much. This is great.
Yeah, and tell the people where to find you.
Yeah.
All right. So you can find me on Instagram at the Vaughn Levi Story. So Vaughn Levi Story.
Okay. And I'm pretty sure we're going to have it on our roundtable screen. Yes.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. We appreciate you coming on. Hopefully we can see each other in person one day, or even partner in some type of deal, for sure. Yeah. But we are so glad. Yes, for sure. We're so glad that we met you. We're going to keep you on the contact list. Make sure you guys tune in and watch this episode. It's going to drop soon. RayVaughn, did you have anything else for us before we end the show?
Happy holidays. Best of luck to all of you. And thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you. You too. Blessings.
Thank you so much. Make sure y'all follow us on all social media. This episode will drop on YouTube, Mouthful TV, Twitter, Mouthful TV, Instagram, Mouthful_TV. So make sure y'all follow us and stay tuned, and we'll see you guys later. Thank you so much again, and have a good day.
No problem.
Thank you.
No problem.